showing your fragile side. Want to be perfect, untouchable like the sky. It's so misleading, believing that fear inside. Don't let the light in, they'll see it behind your eyes. Way down we go, to the dark room where your pain's the only one to greet you. Down we go, to the mind that will deceive you, only out to get you. Down we go, to the bottom, now there's only yourself to count on. Down we go, to the dark room, can you get through all the pain inside you? You're stuck with playing and gaining traumatic times. Want to be stronger, the story of your whole life. This kind of reckless seems endless. It comes a fight till you're not breathing, just bleeding. Oh, what a sight. Way down we go, to the dark room where your pain's the only one to greet you. Down we go, to the mind that will deceive you, only out to get you. Down we go, to the bottom, now there's only yourself to count on. Down we go, to the dark room, can you get through all the pain inside you? Down. The dark room where your pain's the only one to greet you. Down we go, to the mind that will deceive you, only out to get you. Down we go, to the dark room where your pain's the only one to greet you. Down we go, to the mind that will deceive you, only out to get you. Down we go, to the bottom, now there's only yourself to count on. Down we go, to the dark room, can you get through all the pain inside you? Down we.
The only option you have is signing your name here, or else you'll be stuck here forever.
There was a boy, he had the voice of an angel and sang to his parents for fun. He didn't want toys, he wanted a piano so he could learn how to play in the clubs. His daddy was slaving away, but he didn't get paid quite enough to escape from the slums. So the boy went for a walk and he had a long talk with a man who wore black and he coughed. He said, you sign this one thing, it'll give you the keys to my friends on the other side. They'll take you anywhere you wanna go. My friends on the other side, they'll give you whatever you want, let them know. My friends on the other side, there's only one thing you have to let go. To my friends on the other side, say hello to the other side. They're your friends on the other side. He started playing new shows with his elegant clothes, and the fame was attached to his name. He was the talk of the town as the crowd gathered round and they gazed at the way that he sang. He couldn't control his own fingers, he played so damn fast you would think he was Satan himself. The news wanted photos and more, so he sat in the stores and he smiled cause he knew he was best. But then he remembered his father, he looked in the mirror, all the years had gone by in a flash. He went to the store with a man in the black, gave him everything. There was a note on the desk, you gave me a soul for the riches, but you didn't read everything that you signed with my pen. Now
since you've entered the final round. I hope you know at the end there's not a diamond crown. Thoughts written on the thickest walls, trying to cleanse your soul, trying to find me in his clothes. If you're gonna play with fire, then you better do it right. You're gonna throw these stones, then get ready for a fight. 1, crucify your lover. 2, under a full moon. 3, you gotta watch his soul bleed.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wait, hold on. My VTuber's not centered. She's not centered on the screen. That's bothersome. Okay, there we go. Hi! Hi! Oh my god. It's been so long! Oh my god. How long has it been? Has it been like 3 months since I streamed? Holy shit, y'all! I to be gone for so long. I was originally supposed to have my debut for my new Live2D model on the 2nd of March, and then things happened. I ended up in the hospital, and then so I missed. Oh god, I just snotted all over me. What are you bonking me for? It's only been 13 hours. What do you mean 13 hours? It's only been 13 hours. Wait a minute, what? Fucking... Wait, do I have my hand tracker? Let me look for my hand tracker real quick. Well, there's the cord. I found the cord to it. So, is it attached? Yes, the thing is attached. You guys can see my lovely hands. Okay. Because it's not a Neo stream without Scuff hand tracking! As you can already tell. So anyways, I just decided I wanted to do a random freaking stream today. I don't know why. I just woke up today and felt, you know what? Since I seen you, it's only been 13 hours. Oh, you calculate. Also, we're going old school. We're, you know, flashback to, before, like, you know, slightly older 3D model, before the retexture. So, I did a dumb at some point. Don't know what happened. But, that new model I did, where I did a retexture of her, yeah, it's gone. I don't know what happened. I don't know why fucking it got deleted from burst of ads. Neo lives day. Yes. Wait. Hold on. I'm mad at you. Ads. It was freaking funny and infuriating. As soon as I hit the start button, my cat, or one of my cats, the fat one, decided to fucking jump up on my lap and start making biscuits. I would be fine with him making biscuits on my lap if it stayed biscuits. They're misleading biscuits. He's a bitch. He just like, fucking, my cats are so mean and weird and just rude because they like to hump anything that moves. Don't get male cats. Male cats are gross. Male cats like to lick each other's assholes. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand. I guess it tastes good. Fuck, yeah. I think we should figure out what we're gonna do this stream. When a first impression to come, he's a bitch. I'm talking about my cat. I started my stream, and as soon as I hit start stream, my cat jumps up onto my lap and starts making biscuits. And I wouldn't have a problem if he wanted to make biscuits, but he makes naughty biscuits. And I don't like it. I don't want his naughty biscuits. He can love me, he just can't love me. I don't like that. Oh gosh. The hand tracking is scuffing today. Let's go. So I have two options, and I'm leaning towards the first one. I could. I should really plan my streams out before. I promise when I debut, I'm going to have my shit together. I promise. I think we're gonna leaning more towards the second one. I cut my own self off with my own ADHD. I can either A, to art stream, since I haven't done one of those in a while, or B, I could play games. I don't know what game though. It would probably be a Warhammer game. Or maybe like Munhun Wild. What is that? Wait, what is that? What am I listening to? I guess we're cool. Warhammer. Oh, Monster Hunter Wild. I've never played any of the Monster Hunter games. Welcome, welcome in. We're currently discussing. What? What do you mean less USB not recognized? Huh? Um. Yeah, I've never played any of like the Monster Hunter games. I've always wondered like, how are they? Like, cause I haven't even really watched. 99% of snacks would say Warhammer. Only 99? I'm pressing X to doubt, bud. I'm pressing X. Oh my god, I could play an old school game like frickin' Zuma Deluxe. Anybody remember old Popcat games? Oh my gosh, I used to play those games so hard. Those games went so hard as a kid. Or like, you know what game really went hard as a kid? Purple Place. If you played Purple Place, whoa. If you played Purple Place, you had a good childhood. G was released on the Switch. Ah. Might be something I should look into. Anyways, I think then I played World, followed by Rise, and now Wilds. Dang, there's like 3 games. I think we're gonna do a art. I think that's what we're gonna do. Ugh. Oh gosh, I have hair all over my art tablet. My poor art tablet is on its last legs. Split Fiction is fun. Lately I've been playing Dawn of War Soulstorm and Stardew Valley. So like, different like genres. Wait. Oh, there it is. Okay, now I have to move my VTuber's butt out of the way. Whee! I love Stardew too. There we go. I know. Once I debut, I'm also not gonna have to worry about all these little micro adjustments. I haven't really bothered with changing any of my setups for my old model since I'm literally going to be getting rid of the old setup soon. And I cannot wait to show you guys everything! Couldn't finish it with the friends because internet tucked at the time. Aww. Internet tuck. Wait. My art tablet's not working. Let me unplug it. Let me turn it off and back on. Come on. Oh no. Don't tell me. Oh no. Oh no. Hold on. This is not the end. This is not the end for you, Trooper. I know you have a hole in you, and I know you've gone through so much, but you are a trooper. You are a fighter. You're not dying yet. You. Well, it's being detected by the program. So it's just the touchscreen isn't working somehow. Oh, there it goes. I fixed it. Have a gay, hope you good day. Hopefully I see you next time I rev up. Yeah, have a good one. Whoa. My model wigs out when I leave. Yeah, have a good one. Enjoy your day or night, morning, evening, all that good stuff. And let us figure out a canvas. Oh my gosh. Guys, we have a canvas. I don't know what I want to draw now. I mean, you know what we could work on? Actually, I do kind of want to work on this. This thing. Where is she? Is she on her projects? Well, that's weird. Where is it? Okay, no worries. I just may or may not have lost a file that... Oh, there she is. Found her. Do I want to work on this? I haven't named any of the layers. Go me. Or maybe instead could work on some Live2D stuff. I don't know. I'm so torn. I don't know what I want to do right now. Oh no. My mom is vacuuming. This is Scuff. So, whenever I want to talk, I'm just gonna, like, unmute, and then I'm just gonna mute whenever I'm not talking, because I don't want you all to hear. Actually, It doesn't even pick up that much when I don't talk. It doesn't even pick up. Can you guys hear it? How bad can you hear it? If you can. Let me know. Where are your bottom eyelids? Oops. I love this song. So I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. My pen died again? Here we go. We are eager to please. We are eager to please. You just want me to draw more Warhammer stuff. I want to draw more Warhammer stuff too. But first thing first, I need to see if today's even a good art day. Oh, hi, Aslan. Ah! This is like super specific. Brings just a little bit of color to the base, like the color that it needs, because these eyes are kind of... I'm gonna pull open my Actually, I'm gonna pull open my unfinished. What's this one? These two different? Oh yeah. So we've got two different types of eyes we can do. I've done both of these before. So this is like Leah's eyes. This is the model I was making for her before I kind of trashed it. I could do this kind of style where like you see all the little different like glass shards in the eye. Or I could go like this, which I do like this because it also means that I still need to figure out what is this girl's main centerpiece? What is her main focus? Like, what is her? Because I designed this character. This is one of my characters that I made a while back. So it's my OC. So she's supposed to be designed like the old, like, kind of like how women used to dress during like the 1900s, that kind of style, where she's definitely modest. She definitely has a lot of bows. Her hair's got a lot of curls. I love her curly hair. I actually need to redraw her curly hair because I don't think I did it right the first time. Like, wait. If I pull this open. This is how I drew her hair, which it's like a nice, more fitting. I agree. Which I definitely did not get those curls that I wanted. I think her head hair could also be a little bit more curly. So while we're actually at it, let's go ahead and see if I can get some curls. Fun fact, I've never really drawn curls, so this could end up really bad. She's got kind of the left-facing part here. I say left, I know this is technically our right, but I am speaking in the language of this is her left. Kind of what you have to do when you're, Live2D. Guess we're going back to Ruby music. Add a little bit of like a hair curl up here. She does have an Ahoge. I don't know how it's pronounced. I'm gonna draw that after. In this model that I'm actually working on, she's actually gonna be a public model for anybody to use. obviously, like, technically it is still my character, so I still have the rights of the character, but what I really wanted to do was just kinda... I want to practice more models, so I understand only having one instance where I've rigged art for somebody is not really, like, trustworthy. So I want to build my trust and my rapport. And what better way to do that than to also actively give to the community that has had so much taken from it. Like, VTubers, are you guys okay? Are the VTubers okay? I think somebody needs to check on them. There's been so much happening. Like, the past couple weeks. That's very cute. That's very fitting for a lady. Gotta cover that bald head, you know? Hmm. Yeah, we'll make that. Think that'll work. Why no bald tuber? I'm sure, you know, one day we can make a bald tuber. Okay. So the original hair. I think I can still take this part and just intensify it. What are we thinking? I'm thinking... Looks pretty good, honestly. Nope, don't like that. I don't think this is a good art day. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do instead. Excuse me. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. That was a bork. I'm actually gonna... Let's... Oh, I should probably change off of just chatting. I just realized. Oops. Recent items. Art stuff. Projects. My way. Something story. Okay. I know what I need to do, but first I need to do this. Back. Wait, have that. Sorry, I realized there was something to do, and now I'm like, ah.
There's a part of me that's desperate for changes, tired of being treated like a pawn. But there's a part of me that stares back from inside the mirror.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna work on this Live2D model. However, first thing I realized, you guys can see it obviously, I need to adjust some things. As well as like fix some masks. And I need to reorganize the mouth as well. Okay. Upper lip. She doesn't have a top lipstick. Didn't give her top lipstick, so that's fine. And then ooh. Oh, this one's perfect center. Sorry, I got really excited because this model is perfectly in the center. And that just gets me going. Oh, you don't oh. I'm so hard right now. Honestly, fair. Okay, and this will be the matte mask. Top lip. Set that to 0. Top lip, top mouth. Now we're gonna have tongue. And it's not how you spell tongue. Tongue out. And then this one, we have to create a new one. And then we have F, lower lip, and in front of the lip, front lower lip, we've got 2 masks. Yes. So
with the unexpected loss of something
Ugh!
dear.
Make that a different color. And we're gonna obviously make it so it's centered.
And cradled just disappears.
Okay, and this is gonna be
And
mask,
there's nothing, just an
invis,
empty home.
bottom lip.
The light that showed the way is gone.
That's not how you spell this.
Darkness takes control. Bitterness
Then
and anger are
have
caught
a mask like this
of a void.
for the bottom lip.
The path to isolation is littered with the dreams that lay destroyed. The cold seems to grow in my soul, it's consuming me. Confused.
Doesn't have to be perfect because we're probably more than likely gonna resize this in Live2D later.
Being pushed, being pulled.
So it's really not a big deal if it's not the right size. And then this mask bottom lip. I think we want. We want that in there. Oh. Actually, we won't even need to worry about the lip skin with this method. I don't know why I have lip skin like that. But we're gonna move the lower lip in there, as well as the lipstick. That's lower lip. And then we're gonna have F inner mouth. Then, I do. I have. However, this is going to be just very fun. Very simple. Very, very simple. Yep, just like that. Maybe we'll add a little bit more darkness in these corners. Nah, doesn't make it look that realistic. So, we'll just... That looks pretty good, though. So we'll do that. Okay. So now I have the upper fang, the upper teeth, the lower teeth. We need to separate the is this left or right? Right. Our back teeth, L back teeth, then we have the tongue, and then we have the throat. I think we'll probably end up expanding the throat at some point. But for now, we're just gonna leave it as it is. Because for now, it doesn't bother me. Okay. Now... this tongue. Yes! I returned! Hello! Okay, so we have the tongue. We're definitely gonna wanna stretch it out. Obviously the lines are no longer clean, so we gotta clean up these lines. How are you? Circus are tweaking. Yes. 100% of former circus are tweaking. Are you tweaking? That is our tongue that she will be sticking out. Now I have to model. Take favorite texture.
Born with all that I need. My comfort's all guaranteed.
Something like that, honestly, I think.
What's keeping me from moving forward? It's hard to see. I should be free now. I should be fine.
I know it looks so weird and so wrong right now, but it's not gonna look this weird and wrong when it's like being actually worked on and stuff. It's not gonna look this. Yeah, it's not gonna. I promise, it's not gonna look this sus. Cause girl, this right now is not it. That could be actually.
Years of scorn will leave you cold.
This.
Forget your dreams, do what you're told.
It's not final model. This is not final. This character looks like a child. Please. This is not the final. This better not be the final. Cause that would absolutely terrify me. I would be very scared. This would probably be a lot easier if I used my art tablet, but I'm lazy. And you're not really gonna see that much of a lot of this anyways. I mean, these lines, you'll see in a little bit. But like this down here, not. I finished her. Okay, so that should go like that. Like this.
When I was young, if I just closed my eyes then I could go anywhere. Dream.
And the tongue, we have, you know, focus.
What a shame that you came round and told me. Said my dreams can't come true.
We have tongue out. We have the tongue out tip line. And then hang out. Wants me. that. Face clip. He's gonna have to be changed. What's the pout? Okay. So, expressions? I'm gonna change the pout now. It's gonna be... This is just gonna be a lot easier. Because I saw somebody use this method once, and I went, that is the method I want to do. Didn't give quite the finish. Let's... So we'll have that. Then... So when she moves left to right, only one cheek will be puffed. Cheek, puff, L. I don't wanna. Cheek, puff, line. No, that's the skin. Cheek, puff, skin, L. Cheek, puff. Under line, L. Same thing, but this is R. And same thing, but this is R. So now we're gonna do cheek, puff. So that's in its own layer, it's in its own file. We have Sleepy and Sleepy Drool. I think I can keep the drool. But let's color this in. Take that. Make it this color. Make it blue. Give it some shadow. Extra shadow. Hydrate. Okay. Hydration done. And then, if you want your stuff to look a little extra cool, add a little highlight like that, because without it, it looks kind of flat. But when you add it, it's kind of fun. Check your bit rate. Oh no! Almost 5,000. Do I still sound robotic? Hello? Am I still robot? Now okay? Cool. Did we already listen to this? I think it's looping. It is literally looping. I'm sorry, we've been listening to like the same 4 songs, like all the times. We're gonna play this. Ba ba ba. I like this song. It's fine. Okay, we have Sleepy, Smug. I can do that in the thing. It's gonna be fine. Menace. I can also do that in the thing. Shock is just pout, but both of those. Excite. That'll be fine. Excited smile. That'll be fine, because I'm gonna do V-Bridger. So I don't need to worry about that really. We've got the frost textures. Okay. On a new job. Last time you told me you were in danger of being fired because of an incident at work. Okay. So, update about my work. I was worried because I thought I was at risk of being terminated. There were some coworkers that were kind of starting to retaliate for my constant absence at work because, something. Who that elf? I wonder. I know, I love Ruby. So basically, the people who used to cause me a lot of trouble at work have been fired. They are no longer there. They were terminated for not just harassing me and stuff, but also being really, really terrible to other people. So no, they're no longer there. As I am currently undiagnosed with POTS. I'm currently in the works of getting properly diagnosed for it. But what that means is sometimes my blood pressure drops and I have really bad circulation and sometimes I'll faint and I'll faint during work. And sometimes it'll affect me, like when I wake up, I can't move much at all because, well, my blood pressure and everything, it's all janky. So there were a lot of times I would call out and it rubbed some people the wrong way, mostly a lot of the leaders. So, a lot of them were like, hey, you know, it's not cool, you can't keep doing this. But then my actual directors got involved and were like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, you know, here's the review. This was brought up as an issue, but you have health issues. You need to do whatever you need to do to take care of your health, so we're not really gonna pin this on you. It's not really your fault. So, my work has gotten a lot better. And they know, who is that elf? Who was that stinky little elf? I'm redoing some stuff so I can actually finish it for you. And I'm going to make it a lot higher quality than what it was before. So you can actually have a finished model. And it's gonna be, I've learned how to make VBridger parameters. So I'm gonna make it completely VBridger, like, you can use VBridger with it. Speaking of which, I have a question, because this is kind of a double-edged sword. I have created the layers for a tongue out. It is fun to have, because you can, like, stick your tongue out in people and blep at people and stuff. The drawback to that is you could accidentally do in a hangout phase. Do you want to be able to stick your tongue out? It is fun to use, but it does have its drawbacks. And basically VBridger is just like, it's another program you can run that gives you, extra range of motion in your mouth. Like, it is like lip syncing, basically. It's very neat. Very, very neat. Yeah, I don't know why Dude, learning is going back to the first model you ever... Literally the first model you ever made and realizing, why did I cut this model out the way that I did? Like all of these, why did I do all of the frost on the same layer? Prime. Thank you today for our following sponsor. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. This model has definitely been a very, very wonderful learning experience. As well as my own model. It's okay that side overlaps, but we went just 99% say hi to Gremlin. I don't really know what snack. Oh my god. What the fuck? Are you Snexy? Oh, I just caught it. I got it. I got you. It should be clipped. I actually have a button. So, Snexy. I have a, button, because I got a stream deck. And I have a button on my stream deck that I can just flip. So it should be, I just clipped it for you. Oh god. Supposed to post it in chat though. One singular clap. Thank you for the one singular clap. Yeah, let's see. Twitch. Oh, did I use the wrong Twitch? Cool. Yeah, I did. I have clip and clip to chat. Oh god. It's making me link it. But there's not much. Oh, the host proxy is dead. Bulls for the cornflakes! I don't know, cause they're filthy tweakers. Well, I'll do that later when I'm not streaming. Okay, I've clipped this how I should have clipped it in the first place. Now I have to go in and... Okay, I want to see the whip of the Zuki art. Always! Always! I always want to see. Frost R hair, Frost L hair. Frost F hair. This will be 1. This will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Frost hair. We're gonna throw all of that into there. Go ahead and save. Ooh, heck yeah! Yes. That's very nice. I really like that. By the way, I thought I would show you the new and improved cheek puff. So, this is technically two different, this will be technically two different, two of your expressions. Because, if I take, you know, the one away, it's a pout. But if I do this, and then if the mouth expands a little bit, then it'll be your shock. But the pro of why I did it like this is so that whenever whenever the head moves left to right, I can make it so that when the model moves her head right, this cheek puff can go away, and this cheek puff comes in more. So I can literally rig it on the angles, so it's like super much more expressive. Yes, I can make the plush do it as well. I have not fixed that yet, but also fix the sleepy. I've got the excite, the smug, and the other one. The shock are going to be rigged a little bit differently, so I deleted the parameters for that. because I'm gonna rig them in Live2D themselves, because it's just easier. I've got all of the frost. Dark mode, the way I'm gonna be doing dark mode makes it so much easier, because I did like the dark mode effect. I thought that was cool. I have a better way to do dark mode too. Much better way. Much easier too. Hands. Okay, those are the last things I need to clip or cut. I'm just gonna delete that one. Make my life easier. But it's raining. Keep saying that you're all alone. I need... Where's your hands? I am sorry. For this girly pop? Actually, I can... We're gonna... There we go. Oh, I should call you, but it's raining. You keep saying that you're all alone. I'm worried that you keep on playing. You're gonna stay. I don't let you go. A little bit of overlap is perfectly okay, because it's gonna be clipped, so that's fine. Let me hide this finger. But it's raining. Keep saying. Fingertip light appear in dim mode. I could probably make it do it pretty easy, honestly. That would be pretty cool if you do dark mode, and then if you turn on your frost mode on top of dark mode, the frost will glow. That would be, actually, that'd be really cool. Yeah, that's a yes. Okay, it's all the fingers. Now I can re-show all of those, including the hoodie. Ow. Okay. What? Ooh. Frost. yeah. Then we're just gonna be lazy and save us work. Save us all the work we just did. Oh. Okay. The frost hands. Okay, that is the frost. Hair's fine. Plush. Go to the plush here. I can still do it. Yeah.
That's just how it goes. That's just how it's gotta be.
I don't want to bring it in just a tad. Bring it down just a tad.
Well, it came with a lot of things, and I'm letting you go. You're no longer tied to me. My moment of truth was the moment you lied to me.
That's actually the skin. Small one. This. Oh. Are you talking about the plush Callie? She is in fact the small one. Sleepy Drool. Sleepy Drool will be fine, but I do wanna give it a little bit of the same effect I gave. That's pretty good. Hello! Hello, hello! We have... No, wait. Blush. I have to remember to keep my files, like... Make sure I don't... Put it right. Smug. I can do that in the thing. Okay. I am actually quite limited with this mouth. Hold on. I'm realizing I'm very limited with this mouth. I actually... That'll honestly be better. So I'm gonna delete that. So now... There we go. So then the menace can just smile like that. We've got the excite, shock. That'll be just... Baba deserves treats! I don't have any treats in here. Why am I doing it like this? Work smarter, not harder. Ah. I think that's everything. Still your favorite edition? Well, yeah, look at it. Look how cute it is. Face clip. Okay. This is the last thing I need to do. What is this? Deleting? Flush. Ah! What else is invisible? This is like a really important step. Ah. Is that everything? Yes. Okay, we're assuming that is the direct center of the canvas. Alright, now we can go through and... Alright. This is it. We're gonna move her up a little bit. So she's like really in the center here. Okay. Now. Gentle on the bed. I'm saying they need enemies. I know. They always need enemies. Oh wait. I just forgot how to use Live2D for a second. Okay, I'm gonna use recent files. Leah 3. We're gonna use Leah as a reference here. Head angles, eyes, brows, mouth, body. Head angles. That is not body. Eyes, brows, mouth, body. Yep. And then XYZ goes into head angles. This all goes into eyes. This goes into browse. We're gonna delete these. Actually. Bro. All of mouth. And then all of body, including breath, will go in there. These gonna be deleted. Delete those. So we want to start with the eyes, I believe. So she gets to be bald. It's got a really large head. So I'm trying. Let me remember the first thing I did. Here to steal Snake's toaster. Oh my gosh, it's a Fink. Hi, Fink. Unexpected visit. Hi. Snack, what do you have to say? He's here to steal your toaster. Oh, he said, ah. Whoa. My internet died for a second there. Rawr. Toaster went shocky and blundered the internets. Oh. Oh no. How did I do the eye? Oh, I didn't use this, I suppose. Yeah, I see you now. Oh. The fuck happened to my music? Check in a second. I'm currently hyper focused. Fuck happened to my music? Oh. Dang it, that's too many. Commercial break. Aw. We won't talk about anything important. I should play a practical prank, so it's like when the ad breaks, when they come back from the ads, be like, yeah, and that's the entire history of why and that's why Benjamin Franklin. It would be very funny. This is true.
I cannot close my eyes, I cannot fall asleep, suffocating down all night, face down, drowning in this memory.
Man. 1 point in the center.
As I lay me down to sleep, I pray the memories won't find me. Hit the bottle, hit the pills, trying anything just to forget what you did to me. Won't tell my friends, won't tell my shrink, yeah. Maybe I should say something, but I'm terrified to put the blame on me. So I live with the ghost, keep it buried deep. Face down as I drown in this memory. My past is taking over me.
Oh, that looks good.
More I fight it, it just won't let go.
I cannot close my eyes, not fall asleep.
Secret. I've seen so much I can't unsee. I've learned to suffer silently. Fight a war every day that no one sees. It's torture, always remembering. I don't want them to think I'm weak, so I bite my tongue until it bleeds. The weight of this is breaking me. To keep it under lock and key. I cannot
Close my eyes. I don't know what happened. It disconnected, and then it, like, my stream was like, wanna reconnect. I'm like, but I want you to reconnect. It's like, I don't know. I'm not really feeling it today. Really, bro? Really, bro? Anyways, I'm back. We live. We're back from the dead. Let's go. It's funny because stream might have died, but my music was working right the entire time. Like, what? Oh wait, I'm not done yet. I'm alright, even though I'm dying inside. This mess of me, oh mess of me. I'm afraid, charade, my grenade, follow you into the end. I'm afraid, only truth, my abuse. What would they do? Would they do? Doo-doo-doo. Oops. The sun. The sky, the sea, the gunshot lullaby. A lullaby. Thing. Oops. Haven't found it yet. Don't feel it all. Babe, when I was young, I'm feeling dead inside. I'm too afraid to die. My despise. See through bloodshot eyes. up to the sky, fall asleep to gunshot lullaby. Bye. Let's go away. Sad story. Bring it on. Says she give me pretty good movability, right? Whoosh. Sorry. Dead inside, from too great to die, life is spies, sinking bloodshot eyes to the sky, fall asleep to gunshot lullaby. Make it slightly blue because it makes it, gives it a nice little touch. Oh dear God, what? I'm not done with the face. Why didn't I? Why? Why? Why didn't I? Oh, that bothers me. Why did I not clip this out? Okay. I'll never be the same. I hope it haunts you. Hope it haunts you. You'll find the truth. When karma comes for you, hope it haunts you. Hope it haunts you. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. You keep sneezing? Ah. You'll fight me? Do it. I'm waiting. Fight me. Fight me. You're actually sick. Oh. Ascending, never be the same. I hope it haunts you. Hope it haunts you. When karma comes for you. Hope it haunts you. Whoa! Oh, why are oh god, there's like all the alerts. Oh god. Got a pineapple to pizza. You know how it is. No, it was me. Pineapple on pizza though, thanks. Pizza does belong on pineapple. Can we not listen to fuck? What? Let's listen to something else. I want to hear somebody sing "I'm Not Okay." No mercy. Still eat the pizza? I mean, I actually like pineapple on pizza. I think it's pretty good. Like, don't misjudge a good Hawaiian pizza. Pineapple, ham. If you want to be extra, you can do jalapeno. Gives it that good sweet and spicy and savory and all the good stuff. Send your mouth straight to Flavor Town. Hawaiian, you're allergic? Sounds like you should just get over it. I'm kidding! I'm kidding. Obviously. Please don't hurt me. Yeah, no, that's understandable. I'm just being an ass. Nom 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 nom. These are just sparkles, so I don't really need to make them like super detailed mesh or anything. Oops. Delicious. Are you delicious? I think it actually... Okay. Give it to me now. Don't hold back. Give it to me. I don't want your mercy. Want your mercy. Okay, next thing to do would be the main lash. So we're gonna I'd like more.
Yes.
Let's give you lemons. Blood for the blood god! Okay. Now... Life never gave us lemons. Lemons are a result of human plant breeding. We did it all ourselves! We gave us lemons! Take control of your own destiny, for we inherited the stars! What he said! Are we starting a revolution? Sounds like we're starting... Kinda sounds like we're starting a revolution. Am I gay? Yeah, you're pretty gay. Uber gay. Yeah. Does not know the concept of it? Oh god. Y'all just fling a lemon at your enemy, covered in paper cuts, then lightly dust up its salt. Oh! So we know who the psychopath is. The sickest love. If you're starting to feel more sick, maybe that's a sign. Ew. Don't drink engine oil. Not good for your health. Yeah, just stop. Just stop sneezing. It's simple. I want to make sure we have plenty of viters here. I love how I used to like just auto mesh everything, and now I'm just like, everything must be manually done now. So auto meshing can only get you so far. For like, sometimes it just doesn't get your stuff looking the way you want it to. At least that's what I've found. I can't get the results that I'm looking for with auto meshing everything. So I'm stuck with the slightly slower method of just going in and manually meshing. Ouchie, can you please be careful, love? Sometimes I swear you get hurt more than I do. And that's saying something. Don't sneeze and headbutt a car. No shit! Huh?
I came up here earlier. His mom showed me the chili jam that you guys like.
Yeah, the chili oil.
Yeah, chili jam.
Chili oil.
That's kind of the same thing, but.
No. Chili jam and chili oil are not the same
No,
thing, Hiya.
No feel.
No fio. That would be my dad. Making fun of our chili oil. Okay, that is all of that eye. We're gonna go ahead and do the eyebrow. What the Jamie Oliver is going on? Hiya! It's not chili jam, it's just chili oil. I think that'll be decent. Because the thing is, you don't want to over mesh anything, but you also don't want to under mesh anything. Nose line is really freaking easy. Nose blush and highlight is also pretty much the same. Ah. Think that'll be okay. Think that'll be pretty good. Shit. Ah! Why did I do that? There. Let's go ahead and save it. Ugh. Now, this is gonna be kind of the hard part, because I don't exactly remember how I rigged this. Or how I... So, I did the top lip and the upper lip together. I do remember I have mirror edit. Right here, right now. Nia doesn't like rainbow goldfish. That is a lie. Do not listen to this snack. I love rainbow goldfish. He has no idea what he's talking about. The rainbow goldfish is really the only good flavor, actually. No! I like goldfish! I like goldfish. I like them. I like goldfish! Snack. I'm gonna fight you. He's pet fishes? What? Why am I What? What is this? What is happening? What? What did I do? I didn't do anything. I'm not gonna eat. I don't understand. I'm just existing. Snack, I'm gonna beat your ass. Now, I know what we're gonna... So the way we want to do it. The glue. Bottom lip line. I think that's what I want to do. Yep. I hope that corner is not too, we'll see. Now, the lower lip. Okay, that works properly. I don't remember what I'm supposed to clip the top one to, though. Hold on. We're gonna figure it out. Oh. Just realized something I fucked up. Mask, invis, bottom lip. What the bottom lip is? Mask, inv, bottom lip. Is it inverted? Yes, it is inverted.
Hello, come in. Welcome to the freak show. Take your seat, but don't look at the windows. The monsters like to jump out of the dark. Buckle up, cause this is just the start. Smoke and mirrors, never trust what you see. They feast on your fears. Be careful what you believe. Best to just not fall let down your guard. This ride can be enough to stop your heart. Higher and higher we go. Up to the top, better look out below.
High up and high up we go. Up to the top. It's very simple, so I don't need a whole lot of that. Whoa, whoa. What is the inner mouth linked to? Back mouth, mask upper lip, mask bottom lip. There are these also. Oh yeah. The tongue is gonna be a little bit different. But these can be clipped to that. Wonder. Oh, and then one other thing I forgot to check. Are these also inverted? Yeah. This is Wonderland. So this is Wonderland. So if I move my upper lip, you see teeth. If I move my lower lip, you don't get anything yet, obviously. Duh, I didn't clip it yet. Oh shit.
I'm so bored of the way that the world's going round. I've been thinking of burning it down. It's over
Wait. Hold on. Okay, no, that's not clipped. That's not a problem. Unglue all of that, so... Wait. Is it possible it needs to be this instead? Yep. Break the machine. Now... This... I... don't remember. Oh, we're gluing it. And we're making it... red? Oh. We want it to control both of these. Let us see. Does it control both of them? No. We do not. So let's make this one blue. Let's see now. Yep, there we go. Perfect. I'm coming for you. To break the machine. I forgot one more thing. I need to do this real quick. Mouth. We need the inner mouth. Uh-oh.
No surprise. Squeaky clean. Don't let them say you wouldn't want to make a scene. You're living in
Upper teeth, and this mask. Save as Leah, not Leah, Azuki mask. the heck? Suki, Adol, Sumish. Oh. Rest of us. Okay. La, la, la. La, 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 la. What is this clip to? Ah, the teeth. I'm lost cause with the way I want. Goldfish or Cheez-Its? Honestly, I'm kind of a Cheez-Its girly. I think I'm really a Cheez-Its girly. I really like Cheez-Its. Wait, did I have... Yes, I did. The masking for this is definitely so much easier than my Leah model. In this, the issue has like not really anything to do with my artist. I absolutely love and adore the person who did my model, Kitten, by the way. She's absolutely fantastic. I love her works to death. It's more of an issue with me and not having the skill to appropriately rig the model the way I want it to be rigged. Because the mouth, like the back teeth on the model, it's kind of tight. It's kind of a tight fit, and I just don't have the knowledge how to efficiently create my own meshes like I'm doing. I'm learning, but I'm still not really there yet. What did I do for this? I pretty much just... For dinner, the clock changed. Certain. I was supposed to have a doctor's appointment today, but my sleep schedule is so messed up right now. I'm currently trying to fix it. What if I make it all blue? This might not work. This mask might not work, and it's because of the fang. We'll come back to this for now. We'll come back to it later. I might be able to get away with not using that, but we'll have to see. I'm not convinced. I think I will need that, but Hailstorm. Oh. Fun. Whoa. What did I do? Let me reopen. I'm like, what did I do? What the that's no. Okay. Oh, I need to figure. It's 4 o'clock. I need to figure out what I'm gonna eat. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I know. But let's browse. Let's see. Whoa, is that a Warhammer? And this person's only got... Okay. Okay, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna raid this person. Cause I saw their art and went, dang! Alright. Thank you all so much for coming, oh my gosh, to my stream. I know it's been a while. I really want to start streaming again. I know once I debut, I will have a much more consistent schedule. So just bear with me while I figure things out. But either way, thank y'all for hanging out. You have a good one. Bye-bye!